Once when I was out running with my hound, Homer, a cyclist stopped to ask how far we were going. "I don't know," I said. "I'll see how far he drags me." I kept running, but the biker was not discouraged. When I arrived back at the parking lot, he was taking a water break in the midst of his 20-miler. "So, how far did you go?" he asked. "I don't know." But his friendliness was relentless. All smiles, he waited, so finally I pulled out my phone and checked the mileage on my fitness app. "About 5, I said. "That's terrific. That's just great." I had watched a lot of Ted Lasso during the pandemic, so I imagined he said it in the way a soccer coach might. But I didn't really know since I had never actually played a sport, unless you count cheerleading, which I sometimes did since it was all I had. "We're the best, we're the best, we're the BEST best," I had shouted in second-grade cheerleading practice. "Jennifer, do not stick out your hips so far when you do that," my coach had said. It was the first and last piece of coaching advice I received until I turned 50, but since then everyone had been chock full of fitness tips. Perhaps now the fact that I was still upright and mobile, that I was, as my high school trail buddy put it, hanging in there, seemed noteworthy. Of course, hanging in there was not what I was going for, neither in that moment nor in life. Hanging in there evoked hanging by a thread or hanging on for dear life. I realized this was a glass-half-empty interpretation, and that it could just as easily have meant that I was undeterred, unfazed, undaunted. But by what exactly? Age? Humidity? The coming end of summer and these carefree afternoon trail runs? I wanted my solitary presence in the woods to be like the presence of every other runner and biker here, unremarkable, business as usual. Yet it appeared I had reached the moment in life where my continued existence was worthy of comment, like when the local radio station played an artist in his 80s and prefaced the introduction with, "He's still with us and still performing." His presence on the planet was, in other words, extraordinary. Just by existing, he was pushing boundaries, defying odds, blowing past stereotypes. He was, in other words, hanging in there. But that was the thing about reaching this stage of life. So many people I knew were hangers-on and hanging-oners, and now it seemed I was one of them. So I might as well go ahead and say it, maybe even savor it. So I thanked the former classmate I did not remember, cranked up Electric Avenue with 1, 2, 3 taps to my right headphone, and continued running, taking it higher and higher and higher. By the time I arrived in the parking lot, I realized I had been offered not so much an insult as a blessing, perhaps even a benediction. May the blessing of the forest remain with you always. May you keep hanging in there all the days of your life.